Hey, I'm Coach Dale Sanford with BPC Performance Coaching. We get asked a lot, how do I improve my running mechanics as quickly as possible? And it's usually not that easy of a process. It's not a thing that's going to happen overnight. And the older that you are, the more difficult it is to set in permanent changes into your running mechanics. But with that, today I wanted to bring you two different things that you can do today to improve your running mechanics. Now, the first thing that you can do to improve your running mechanics is make sure that your arms power your legs, okay? So make sure your arms power your legs. So whenever that left leg is powering off and pushing back behind you, that right elbow is firing backwards. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna counteract the rotation in your body, and by offsetting that rotation, you're going to be able to put more force directly backwards to propel yourself forward. This is especially important uphill. So making sure that that elbow fires back as that opposite leg is driving backwards. So left leg driving backwards, right elbow driving backwards, and vice versa. And you want to make sure that that elbow is firing straight back, not out to the side. We got no chicken wings here. So make sure that the elbow is firing straight back, and then arm's going to be probably less than 90 degrees. You don't want to go farther than 90 degrees unless you're a sprinter. So elbow straight back, pop, as soon as that foot hits the ground and you're starting that extension phase of your running gait. So number two, this is a huge one, and it is so simple. Number two is your line of sight. Now, if you'll notice, if you test something real quick for me, if you look to the right or look to the left or look down or look up, you'll notice that your chest follows your line of sight. So for those of you that run constantly looking at the horizon, you're likely causing your chest to lift up. So when we're running, we always want to have a little bit of that forward lean. That forward lean helps direct our force forward and creates more forward propulsion. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep your head neutral. So don't look at the horizon. I want you to look at a point about 10 to 15 feet out on the ground. Sometimes I always describe it, find a butt to run behind if you're in a race. So find a butt to look at and keep that line of sight. So you're keeping your head neutral. So if I'm standing vertical, I can look pretty much at the horizon. But if I want to forward lean and I keep my head up, you can see that my line of sight sits at the horizon, my chest sits up. But if I bring my head down and neutral with my spine, it's much easier to keep that forward lean going, okay? We're not, this is example of waist up. Normally that lean would happen at the ankles and not at the waist. But just for this example, as you're leaning forward as you run, you want to make sure that your line of sight is down about 10 feet on the ground, okay? And that, again, is going to help bring that chest forward, keep that stance forward a little bit more so that you can create more forward propulsion. Now, this is something that I find myself guilty of all the time, especially in the races when you're tired, and it gets hard. If it gets hard, constantly think about these two things. Line of sight, 10 feet down on the ground, not at the horizon, especially going uphill. If you're going uphill, cannot look at the horizon, your chest is going to come up and you're going to be wasting a lot of energy. So keep that line of sight 10 feet down on the ground, and then always make sure that your elbows are powering your leg drive, okay, so that extension phase. Those are the two things. Try them out. I promise they work. If they work for you, don't forget to leave us a comment. Check us out on Facebook and check out our website. If you have anything else that you'd want us to talk about, please let us know. Thanks for watching, and as always, trust your training.